Hey, what's up guys? Today we are installing Ewiks movers on a Bushlapa Boabab. We are going to use a two-part bracket system. Let's do it. On the Boabab, we need to remove this bolt here. This bolt holds the leaf spring in place, and then this bracket goes in this position, but we need to remove this to get it in there. Okay, now that this is in its position, we've made a hole there already, and we're going to put two bolts. Pull this back a little bit in order to get this one in, and you need to do this before you put that, otherwise you're not going to get it in at all. And that one there, and then we're going to put that on. The pole's going through here, and this allows for adjustment so that we can have it the correct distance from the tire. And that's it. So we're just going to do the other side quickly, and then we'll get the pole in, get the movers on. We'll show you guys what happens from there. So we're going to put the relay box right over there, and cables go to the batteries. We're going to make a hole somewhere here that goes to the two movers, and it's pretty straightforward. Alright, so we've wired up the relay box, and that is going to sit right over there, and then we're just going to get the cables onto the battery, and that's it. Cables all neatly tucked away. Obviously we're going to put the cover on, and that will be neat. This is nicely out of the way. There's a little hole there. Alright, all done. Relay box is in, battery is closed, everything is 100%. The two wires connected here. Wire goes up and goes through the channel to the other side, and it obviously goes into the Caravan there, where we have put some silicone there. The question a lot of people ask me is, can you drive through a river with the movers on? And the short answer is no, you cannot. If you want to do that, you need to remove the movers. You cannot drive through and submerge the movers in water. It is likely to get water inside, and that will result in causing rust inside by the armature. It's just all bad. But what you can do is, let me show you that you're going to loosen these two, and there's another 4 bolts here. 1, 2, 3, and there's one at the back there. 4. This is a size 13. So you loosen the two connectors that goes onto the motor, the positive and the negative. Take it off, and then you're going to just loosen 1, 2, 3, 4. You don't have to take it off. You can just loosen it. Once this is loose, you're going to slide this off. Let me get you another view there. Just going to slide it off. I've loosened 1, 2, 3, 4. I've taken the wires off the movers, and as you can see, this can just slide right off. And then you put this inside your Caravan. So if you have to drive through water, loosen the four bolts. It's not going to take a long time, and just loosen the two. It's a size 10 spanner at the back for the electrical, and this is a size 13. And that's it. You just slide it off. And once you've taken it off, this can go through the water. The two wires that are hanging there, they can go through the water because there's no power to those cables as long as you're not pressing any buttons. So you can drive through water, and when you're done with that, put it back on. Obviously, there's a certain point it has to go in, and before you do it, you can just make a little mark with a Coca pen or whatever, because when you engage it, there is a gearbox that you don't want to touch the tire, and that's more or less how I want it, right there. That's it, done. Hook your springs in. The springs are going to be in, and you're not going to come out. We just haven't connected it yet because we are busy with installation. So the springs are going to be hooked in. You just leave the springs. You don't worry about that. And that's it. Take it off, put it back on. Drive through water with this off. It takes a few minutes to take off. Takes a few minutes to put on. Definitely worth it. You don't want to risk damaging it If you have it damaged with water, that will not be covered under your guarantee, and you might have to replace the motors, which is a costly experience. Okay, and obviously put the little cables back, and that's it done. How to engage your movers, the do's and the don'ts. First thing that we're going to look at is this little pin here. This little pin has got 2 pins at the back, and it pushes into this here. This little disc there, when you push this pin in, it's got 2 little pins, and that pushes into this plate here. That releases this so that your mover can go towards the tire. If you don't push it in, that's what happens. This is the pin. If you don't push it in, this is locked. When you push it in, it is loose. Now, the way that you would push this in while you're disengaged and engaging it is with your tool. So you're going to put your tool over this 19 here, and then as you put it in, it'll automatically push this little pin in. So you push it in, and then the first 90 degrees should be really easy, and you'll see that the roller is moving towards the tire. So as I lift it up, this is moving towards the tire. So the first 90 degrees should be really easy, and the next 90 degrees it's a little bit harder, and you basically just connect it up, and that's it. And there we go. This is now engaged. The roller has pushed a little bit into the tire, and the contact is enough in order for you to move your caravan in whichever direction you want. When you want to disengage it, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to put it over, make sure it's over all the way, and you can't just pull it because the pressure from this roller onto the tire is going to transfer to the handle. So you're going to hold it firm and lift it, and it's going to give you a little bit of a jolt there, and then you can release it. And that noise it makes is normal. So if you disengage and there's a noise, it's normal. It does that. So you engage it, and you disengage it, and that's it. Now, the don'ts. When you put your tool over that little pin there, and it does this, it's hooking. The reason why it's hooking is I didn't push it in all the way, and the reason I didn't do it because you do get some tools where the little neck inside is a little bit, it's longer, and when you push it over it, it doesn't push this pin in all the way. When this happens, then you're going to get that hooking, and if you're going to now say, okay, well, it's difficult, I'm going to pull it, you're going to break those pins at the back. Your mover's locking system is no longer going to function properly, and you're not going to have movers that work until you get someone else to come and fix it, like myself or some of the other installers. So push it in, make sure it's easy the first 90. If you push it over and you feel it's hooking, wiggle it, make sure it's all the way in, and then check again. If you wiggle it and it's still hooking, I would say put something in there, maybe a little bit of press stick or whatever it is that you can put in there. You can use a glue gun, Pratley steel, whatever you want to use to fill up a little bit of space until you've got it working smoothly. This is very important. If you have a problem with that and it does hook sometimes, eventually it is going to break and it is going to cost money to fix. So that's the don't. Otherwise, straightforward. If everything works 100%, you're going to put it on, engage it, done. That's it. All right, let me show you quickly how the remote works. This is the remote that is on, and then there will be a little light there. It'll come on and switch it off. So remember to switch it off when you're not using it. The remote takes 2 penlight batteries, which is AA's. These batteries are not bad at all, so you wouldn't need to change them anytime soon, but eventually you might need to, especially if you have forgotten to switch this off when you're not using it. Okay, so we're going to switch it off just for the explanation, and then afterwards we'll put it on. We'll move the caravan around a little bit. All right, so as you can see, I'm going to bring it real close so you guys can read it. So we've got forward, we've got backwards, we've got left hand side, LHS, and RHS, which is right hand side. This means that these 2 will move the left hand side, which is the left hand wheel, and those ones on this side will move the right hand side, which is the right hand wheel. So it's sort of like a tank. So when I press either of these 2, it'll only move the one wheel. If I move either of these two, it'll only move the other wheel. If I press the top one will move both forward at the same time. Or I could actually press both at the same time. That will do the same thing. So I can press those two, or I can press just that one, it'll do the same thing. Or I can press down both, or that one, it'll do the same thing, that and that. You can also press it one up and one down, if you like, and one down. And this will result in turning the caravan on its axle where it stands. If you don't want to turn as sharp, you can just say, okay, well, let's move the right-hand wheel forward. And when you do this, it's going to move it and it's going to turn left. And yes, push the right one to turn left. That's exactly what I said. If you imagine that is a steering wheel, if you turn that up, the steering wheel is going to turn this way and it's going to turn left. That's exactly what's going to happen. And it's exactly with this as well. So if this goes up, you turn left. If that goes down, it'll turn right, but it'll turn the right-hand side wheel backwards, but it will still turn right on the nose of the caravan. If you want to do a sharp turn, you can turn the right-hand wheel forward, the left-hand wheel backwards, and that will result obviously in a very sharp turn. We'll demonstrate that in a minute. The middle button is a cut-off switch. So if I am pressing a button to move the caravan, it's going to move. When I let go, it's going to stop. If it doesn't stop, that would be a problem. I would then push this button in, I would hold it in, and I would go to the relay box and I would flip the switch. I would go into the caravan, find the relay box, and it will be in the on position at the time. So you hold this in, you go to your relay box, you flip the switch, and then it's off. All right, so we're going to move the caravan a little bit now. I'm going to switch it on the side, and I'm going to press both buttons at the same time, and it's going to move forward. I have definitely not forgotten to put the handbrake down, and you shouldn't either. Once you've engaged both sides of the movers, you're going to engage it this side, you're also going to engage it the other side, and you're going to take the handbrake down. Don't forget. Forward, backwards. I'm going to turn left, so I'm going to turn the top right one so that it will move left. I'm going to push the left-hand side forward and it will turn right. Now I'm going to turn one forward and one backwards, and it's going to turn on its axle. I'm going to turn it back, same thing, but just in the other direction. And that's how you move it. So I think what we're going to do is I'm going to turn it around. I'm going to speed it up a little bit because it takes a while to do, and show you guys how that looks like. All right, guys, all done. Let's test it. I'm going to turn the right-hand wheel forward, the left-hand wheel backwards. This is what it looks like. I'm going to right wheel forward, left wheel backwards, and I'm going to turn on its axle now. We got it on its place. Really easy to use, guys. I recommend, if you've got a bush caravan and you need to move it easily, Ewiks movers. See you on the next one.